Yo, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? How's it going? This is HD StarCraft, and I'm here to bring you guys a special 2v2 broadcast of myself playing along with my very good friend Dopa. Some of you guys may remember his name from back in the days in the beta when I used to cast a lot of games with me and him playing 1v1s. The infamous proxy hatch in his base, for example, one of the fun games that are somewhere archived on my YouTube channel. But you know, late last night, I was playing some 2v2s. I was still feeling kind of sick, and I thought, you know, playing some StarCraft 2 would be a good way to kind of get over it a little bit, and we got into some 2v2 sessions with me and Dopa. Now, the thing is, Dopa is going to be playing a Zerg here, which is pretty unusual. He usually plays Protoss. We both decided to pick random, and I ended up getting his race Protoss. So it's going to be me and Dopa playing a 2v2 here against two players that we matched up with on the ladder. One player's name is Jesse. He is the purple Terran. And over on the right of that, we have Irendil, who is going to be the teal Protoss. So it's going to be a Protoss Terran versus a Zerg Protoss. And the map, I don't even know what the name of this map is. I'm not really a big 2v2 player, guys, so you guys will have to forgive me for that. But it's one of those lava char based maps. We're somewhere on Char right now, off the coast of the lava. So it's going to be a pretty fun one. I played this one out about 5-6 hours ago, and then I thought it was absolutely epic, one of the best 2v2s I've ever played, and I made a mental note to myself before I went to sleep, must cast this game tomorrow first thing as soon as I wake up. So I'm up right now, guys, and I wanted to go ahead and bring this game to you all. Hope you guys all enjoy, and you know, it's not always that I'll do professional games. It's fun, you know, to do professional games. Obviously, that's my forte, but I also, from time to time, like to just broadcast some, you know, casual matches that I might be playing, or that the fans, you guys might be playing, the viewers. In fact, I wanted to go ahead and make a comeback to the Failcraft series. A lot of people have been wanting to see that, and I know the guys over at Lag TV have been doing very successfully with their When Cheese Fails series, so big props up to them. If you guys haven't seen them, go ahead and check it out. So I'll probably be doing a comeback to that series, so if you guys could send any of your fail replays over to my email at HDreplays@gmail.com, and I'll be taking a refreshing look at some of those replays and see if I can bring any awesome sets for you guys, or awesome games where the most amazing fail happens. That's the gist of it. So strap yourselves in, guys. This is going to be a 2v2 with me and Dopa versus two random players from the StarCraft 2 ladder. And you know, the funny thing is, when we were talking about this, he was saying, Alex, I don't have much of a base to work with here, because, you know, Zerg, you usually need a natural expansion to get right away, but the natural out here is pretty wide out in the open. It's pretty far exposed to the middle of the map, so he was kind of concerned at this point, saying, well, you better cover my ass and make sure that I don't die to some you know, random stuff. I don't want to get attacked to the front and lose my hatchery. So I said, alright, don't worry, man, I got my Zealot here. Me and your Overlord together will provide maximum security for this hatchery. So we had the hatches battened down over there, and over back inside the enemy bases, it looks like they were opting to go for, you know, pretty economic build, which is not too common in 2v2s. A lot of times in 2v2, you'll face off against the most ridiculous cheeses, and there's a saying, I think that Day 9 made pretty popular, in 2v2 there is no such thing as cheese, that's actually standard. Which, yeah, there's a lot to say for that. It's very true, because when you play 2v2s, a lot of times it's going to be this affair where you just want to be as aggressive as possible and kill the enemy player as soon as possible. You know, two forces are much harder to hold off than one force. That's kind of like I guess, the way you play 2v2, and especially 4v4, the intensity just gets super crazy. But doesn't mean you can't have a macro game. I think at the highest levels it is possible. Not saying that we're high level or anything like that, but we're, you know, I consider myself to be decently skilled in StarCraft 2. Not amazing or anything like that. You know, I'd say low to mid masters right now, because I don't play as much as I used to. But we'll see what happens here. It looks like Jesse's going to go for the command center, and he is going to go for that macro game. His teammate has helped. I guess he's mostly been the one that's walled off, and his teammate here has kind of gotten a gateway cybercore robotics facility. He's going 3-gate robo, 2-gate robo actually, and a very fast Colossus support bay. So he's going to have Colossus coming out very soon, and that's a pretty quick rush. It's a great unit to have in 2v2, why not? Don't know why his observer's chilling at the front of his ramp, though. He should actually get a little more mobile with that and scout what's going on. And it does look like he's going to take the middle nexus in the middle of the map. So this map, it seems like it's pretty hard to expand, but right now our whole strategy was, because it's so hard to expand, let's just go ahead and try to end the game early. And so I said, alright, just tell me what to do, Donald, because that's his name, Donald Dopa. Just go in 3-gate robo and tell me what to do. I'm going to come in with as many sentries and zealots and immortals as I possibly can, and we're going to go for a gung-ho timing push here. So my army is going to be made of my army is going to be made of immortals and sentries and whatnot, and I was waiting for Dopa to bring out his roaches, and I guess our powers combined, we're going to take down this command center down here. Unfortunately, it looks like we were going to lose our vision. This is my early observer, and it was tailed by Erendel's observer, and so it looks like we lost vision over the base, but it was alive long enough for us to know that there is a command center down there. I guess we will also lose an overlord over the fiery pits, but they're alive long enough for us to know that, alright, Jesse has an expansion out here that he's expanded towards us. It's pretty vulnerable. You know, on this map, we quickly realized through the fog of war that there is a set of rocks we can blow through, and we can even just come right down the ramp here, and there's nothing defending this but a bunker. So we realized here, hey, we don't want to play the long game on this map. We're going to try to attack here and see if we can make something happen. And hopefully this is going to pay off pretty well for us. You know, our strategies in 2v2, they don't always pay off as you think they would, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can agree with me. Sometimes when you play that game of StarCraft 2 and you guys have this super special plan saved up and ready to go, it just doesn't work out the way you want it to all the time. So we were kind of crossing our fingers here and hoping it would. Thankfully for us, Erendel still didn't have his Colossus out yet, and that's the kind of drawbacks to going for the fast Colossus, is you're not going to have them for a while because they take so long to get up. And because of that, the Protoss side of our opponent's whole team composition really kind of irrelevant until the late game. And it looks like Jesse here going for tanks pretty much, so it definitely seems like their army is very small. They rushed up the tech, and we have a much larger army right now, so let's do it, man. It's time for the gung-ho timing attack. Oh god, that reminds me of that one music video that just became so big, the Gangnam something? I don't know, it's like this crazy video with Psy, like the guy in the video. You guys I don't know, just watch it, it's crazy. I don't know, a lot of you guys probably know what I'm talking about, but here we go. I'm going in with Dopa, and we're going to try to take out this command center here. And I remember us talking on Skype, we're like, focus down the CC, intensify forward, firepower! And so our whole goal here is make sure that it was on fire before it would be able to come back and get repaired. And it looks like we're going to be able to do that, or it looks like I'm be able to do that because roaches can't hit air. Protoss air supremacy, or Protoss anti-air supremacy for the win. And now we're thinking, well, here's our way out. We'll just bust through these rocks to get out in case they're trying to corner us in through the back. But no response from our opponents, so that's a pretty solid victory right there, I might mention, might add, and things are looking pretty solid for us to start the game off. Anytime you can pick off a CC, and I don't know how many workers we killed, but let's pull up the income tab and see here. Purple Terran at only 26 harvesters, so yeah, he probably lost quite a few SCVs there because he's got the lowest count right now out of the entire game. But doesn't look like they were too phased. I mean, in all honesty, the Protoss Erendel still has his Nexus, and remember, they were going for a late game strategy here. They've got tanks and Colossus here, really saving up quite the deadly late game AoE splashdown fire army, where we're kind of on the tier 2 tech. So it's not a surefire win for us yet, and I'm going in here taking tons of unnecessary damage. That was really dumb on my part. And then I remember him calling on Skype, pull back, what are you doing? You're taking too much damage. So we were falling back here in full retreat. That army was so scary. And honestly, if we had not killed off this command center down here, we probably would have lost at this point. Their economy would have just kicked into super high gear, and it would have been a very hard situation. Dopa here coming in with the Zerglings, making sure, I guess, that command center wasn't there and that a replacement hadn't come yet, and now he's going to try to don't know what he's trying to do. Barrel through the front door. It's always fun to watch a 2v2 again because you don't know what your teammates or what the other players are doing. You always kind of see it from your own point of view until you watch the replay. So this is cool. Nice job, Donald, going in there, getting a little pro-harass, killing off some workers here or there. Yes, yes. I do like that. And Irondell immediately trying to pull back. And I guess that counterattack of Zerglings actually played a pretty big role because it halted the advance of the tanks and the Colossus. Honestly, if Jesse and Irondell hadn't wanted to advance forward and started to siege up our front door, it probably would have been tough for us, I think. I mean, I've got a lot of Immortals, true, and we do have some air units now, but still, I think it would have been a nasty situation for us. Now, it looks like down in the bottom left, some Blue Flame Hellions here, doing what they do best, which is barbecuing on a hot Wednesday afternoon. And on the main menu, it's Zerglings. So Jesse kills off the remainder of the Zerglings and is able to secure some comfort over the re-establishment of this command center. Not too shabby from him. Meanwhile, I'm grabbing a third Nexus, actually. So I'm on 3 bases. My teammate is on 3 bases. Our opponent, Protoss, is on 3 bases. And the Terran is on 2. So we do have that base advantage right now. But we don't really have the army advantage yet, I don't think. Their army is so strong. The Mutas, though, are going to be a big role here, because if we can get in there and do a lot of damage with these Mutas, remember, they don't have that much anti-air. They're primarily Colossus tank. Then these Mutas can pay big dividends. And so we were kind of thinking here, let's go for a 2-pronged attack. I'm going to come in from this side while you come in with Mutas on the right. We didn't really account for these Blue Flame Hellions running up through the top, so thankfully for now those Hellions did pull back, but we are going in with this double-pronged attack. Great harass by Dopa, and meanwhile I go in and snipe off the Planetary Fortress or Orbital Command. I don't know what the hell it was, but it is now debris on the field of Char. And the Mutas are still actually going around doing some great damage, going to be able to pick off the double forges. And wow, I didn't realize that Dopa did so much damage with these Mutas. Actually, that's really good. But remember, those Blue Flame Hellions still on the map, and they are, it's still Wednesday afternoon, and it looks like they're going to add probes to the menu here. And looks like my probes are going to be on the skewers. So there it is. I lose a couple of probes, so I immediately bring my Stalkers up to defend against this situation. And in fact, our whole army, the entire legion of our finest warriors, has been called back to defend against the barbecuing Hellions. And meanwhile, I'm not too sure what the Mutas were doing. I guess they got fended off, or being pulled back, I suppose, to protect this hatchery. Those Hellions are in a weird spot, though. In fact, they have been cornered in now on all angles, and it doesn't look like they're going to have much more room to work with. Oh, they might be able to roast up my probes. That is so noob, HD. What are you doing? Okay, so that was not good at all. I actually ended up losing a lot of workers there, and my worker count now to 47. But our total worker count still way ahead of our opponents, so we're still looking decent here. But our army, it's still something that I'm really scared about, because the what is Dopa doing? He is just gonna lose all of his Mutas here. Wow, this is unacceptable. I don't know what he was doing, but losing all those Mutas compounds onto the problem that Irondell and Jesse still have a very strong army. Colossus tank, and now incorporating Thor to deal with, I guess, now extinct Mutas, is very, very problemsome. So we were not looking forward to fighting that army head on. In fact, you know, I'm basically all Immortal here. And Immortals are great, man. They're an awesome unit. They're finding their resurgency now in the pro scene. In fact, I guess they never had a resurgency. They are finding their epiphany now in the pro scene. But this is not the pro scene. This is a 2v2, and I'd much rather have Colossus than Immortals. And I'm running up to this ramp, but that was a very bad idea. So I decided to pull back. An army's still way too big to handle with. And we kind of realized now that we would probably be forced into guerrilla warfare tactics if we were to win this game. Because sometimes you gotta realize you can't fight this army head on, but you might have the more mobile army. So what you gotta do is you gotta go around the side, swing through the back, try to do as much damage as possible, and you know, you don't want to play a head-on engagement. So that's what Dopa was thinking. He's gonna go in here with all these Mutas and try to harass the Terran base as much as possible. Meanwhile, I'm getting stormed like crazy, trying one more time to dance with fire, dancing with the devil, but you can't tango with tanks and Thors, man. That's not, they're not good dancing buddies. So I decided to pull back and go down south and say, alright, fine, we'll go for the base trade, we'll go for the base race, instead of trying to fight this army head on. And that's kind of the situation we found ourselves in. Unfortunately, my army is just not that big, and if you think about it, you know, if all these Mutas and all these Colossus and Immortals and Stalkers were to engage into this army, probably wouldn't end too well for us. And so you guys see here that now our bases are getting carved out. This is my main, this is Dopa's main. We're losing all forms of life here, man. This is mass extinction at this point. And not even the Brootlings, the cockroaches hiding inside the hatcheries, will be spared. So yeah, it's a base race now, full on. Dopa wisely throwing down new spawning pools, new roach warrens. I'm doing the stutter step as I go inside the enemy base. And at this point, when you find yourself in a base race, I think it's always best to just kill off as many production facilities as possible. I don't know why Jesse didn't lift off his buildings here. He actually could have saved and salvaged whatever he could, you know, the factories and the barracks, but he didn't, which was good for us. And I realized, alright, well, I'm losing all my buildings here. It's time to rebuild. And, you know, I had so much minerals and gas, I said, screw it, I'm just going to throw up a bunch of gateways and cross my fingers and hope that I'll have enough time to warp out a round out of that before they discover the new gateways. And, uh-oh. Yep, it's a full-on base race, man. Even Dopa sent his roaches down to the bottom right. And now if we just take a toll on the map, you know, Arendel's got one Nexus here. And the Terran has a command center floating in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. So we have definitely more bases, more buildings for them to blow through, but we still don't have the army to deal with, you know, firepower of this magnitude. So, this is still a pretty dicey situation for us. And, we'll see what happens. It looks like my home of new gateways is now beginning to warp out, and I was saying, alright, Donald, we have to protect this at all costs. This is all I have 1,500, 1,000 banked up right now. I need to get a cycle of units out and get maximum production out of here before the gateways go down. So we called the full-on retreat of everything back home to defend our newest bases. Unfortunately, it looks like our opponents got the step to it, and they were there a little bit earlier. But that didn't halt. That didn't cause us to stumble or falter. We said we might be able to take on this army head on. And you know, if the Colossus are out of position, maybe just a little bit far away from the tanks, if the tanks aren't siege, maybe we can go in and fight this. But the Storm just shredding those roaches. And I think at this point we were like, well, you're in by yourself, man. I'm gonna pull away. And then he ended up losing more roaches, I guess, than he needed to. But that was not successful. And they actually ended up taking a pretty hefty chunk of our army there. And not looking good for us at all, because I really never got much out of these gateways. In fact, probably would have been better not even to construct them. I think I got like one round of Stalkers and maybe one Colossus out. But that was pretty dicey for us. And now it was like, well, we know there's an enemy Terran on the map, so we know even if we eliminate all the buildings on the ground, we still have to find one or two or whatever, how many floating buildings he's hiding in the skies. So I said, all right, I'm gonna go kill off all the buildings on the ground. You kill off all the ones in the air. I don't know why I'm running into a bunch of Storm here. I almost lost all my Stalkers, or a good chunk of them. That was a nice play by Arendelle to storm my army as it came inside. But this is a full-on, like, survival of the fittest now, and I realized, hey, in these situations, I remember watching Tails do this in a couple of crazy 1v1s before. If you find yourself into one of these crazy base races, just throw up a Dark Shrine. It's like the best unit ever, because if they don't have an observer, you're going to win the game. You can just kill off all the tanks, you can go harass random stuff around the map. And so I was thinking, all right, I'm going to get a Dark Shrine up. So if I can get this up, I've got tons of minerals and gas, I can warp in a bunch of DTs, then we're golden, man. This is going to be a pro strat. And so I was saying at this point, hey, let me get my Dark Shrine up, just protect my bases. Dopa was saying, no, let's just kill off every remaining base. There's a couple of pylons and Nexus up here, so I think he was in full-on base race mode because he really didn't have much left to work with. But this army is so big and so scary, and Dopa throws away everything, it seems like, into the Nexus and these pylons. I don't really know if this was the winner move. but we'll see, we'll see. It looks like he was able to kill off everything but 2 pylons, and so that ping on the map was saying, HD, come kill these 2 pylons, and I was like, Dopa, I just want to get my Dark Templar up, but then I realized, oh, I need gateways to make DTs, so I was really in kind of in one of those situations where, oh crap, I don't have enough buildings, or I don't have the right tree to get the units I need out on the field, so it was kind of dumb, but I was trying to get my DTs out as soon as I possibly could, and at the same time sending my army over to the right so that I could maybe kill off these 2 pylons, because at this point we were thinking, hey, these 2 pylons might just be the last couple pylons on the map, and if we kill these 2, we might be able to win the game. And honestly, that's kind of true. The 2 pylons and this command center is all the enemy team has at this point, and so that's what we were trying to kind of go after to kill. And at the same time, I was hoping back at home I'd be able to get my Dark Templar out, but it was found before I could warp in anything. So unfortunately for us, we realized quickly that killing off those 2 pylons did not secure us to win, and I couldn't make any DTs because gateways don't warp instantly. You have to warp them to warp gates first. So that was kind of an abysmal realization for us, as we quickly found that, well, our army still isn't really big enough to deal with an army like this, so we can't go head on. We have to keep playing the counterclockwise, look around the map, find the remaining base. But unfortunately for us, and unfortunately I guess for Dopa, his compass was off because he couldn't find the floating building. He was checking around the map, through the air, through the skies, but I guess he never bothered to check the bottom right. And that is literally the last bastion of the enemy player, of the enemy team. So this was a full-on heads-up base race, and whoever could kill off the remaining buildings first, if we could find the orbital command, or if we were going to lose our remaining buildings, because I had no more probes. I couldn't make anything left. Thankfully, though, I was able to find 2 rando Colossus walking down to the bottom right, and I was able to pick off at least 1. I guess they were going after my assimilator down here, and I was like, alright, screw it. Gonna leave that assimilator to die, because I'm thinking right now there's got to be only 1 building left on the map. So I'm looking as hard as I can. Everybody's going around the map trying to find the remaining buildings, and finally Dopa's heading in the right direction, getting warmer and warmer, and hopefully he goes down to the bottom right here. It looks like he is going down to check for that orbital command, and I guess he is going to eventually run into it. Meanwhile, at the top left, this is the last couple buildings we have remaining, and if Dopa does not, if we don't keep these buildings alive, it is over for us. And so this is a full-on base race right now. Muta's killing off the orbital command, and Dopa realizing, hey, I gotta pull these drones away to try to build an extra hatchery, and he sneaks him around underneath the doors. Meanwhile, I'm bringing my army up to try to stall for time, but the hatchery and the extractor go down, but at the very last second, the hatchery comes up from Dopa, and he was able to keep us alive. If that hatchery had not come up, we would have lost. And then the orbital command in the bottom right goes down, so we were able to secure the win. Oh yeah, that was probably one of the closest 2v2s I have ever played, literally because it came down to the last second, and I just want to rewind for you guys one more time to show you guys just literally how close that was. So these 2 drones here, you know, imagine this, we were screaming frantically while we're on Skype. Get a hatchery up, get a building up, and he was saying, well, I got the command center down in the bottom, it's going down, it's at 655 HP, and I was just saying, get a building up right now, because literally the hatchery and this extractor are moments away from going down, and he just now starts the hatchery, so he just barely starts it as soon as the hatchery and extractor go down, and then he kills off the orbital command. So that was pretty crazy game for me and Dopa to play, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. You know, I like to bring you guys some casual games from time to time. Once again, giving a call out there for anybody, if you want to send in your fail replays, whether it's by yourself or by a player you played against, send it in to me at HDreplays@gmail.com. The link is down below. I'll take a look at it and try to cast it for you guys. And, you know, I hope you guys enjoyed this fun cast for me. It was definitely an awesome game to play. Hopefully we'll have more pro games coming out soon, as well as random events like this from time to time. Hope you guys enjoyed. This is HD, signing out.